Hoenn region balls, let's go. Congratulations, viewer. This time I did not fast forward through 90% of the gameplay in this playthrough of Emerald with our in-game trades challenge. I did the exact opposite. I played normal speed for 90% of what you're about to see, and maybe about 10% I fast forward. But I might be a little too generous on that. Maybe it was more like 5%. So we're just trying to level up our Skitty because we need to be almost 20 levels higher than the competition because Skitty sucks. And Skitty's stats just are not doing it. We could throw a Moonstone at Skitty, evolve it into a Delkitty, but then it would be in danger of being a YouTube/internet waifu, so we don't want that. Plus, for the in-game trade challenge, I need to trade Skitty for a Meowth, which is basically the same thing. Meowth is just from Generation 1, whereas Skitty is Gen 3, but they're at equal strength levels, so it's really not going to help me out. I'll just get the boosted XP and be able to level up higher, because by the time I get to the... Oh, well, that's after the Pokemon League. That's at the Battle Frontier. So I won't even get to use Meowth to its full potential. What's going to happen is by the time I get to Battle Frontier, I'm going to trade like a freaking level 77 Skitty towards this trainer who has a Meowth. And of course, you always get the receiving Pokemon at the same level as yours. So I'm going to get a level 70-something Meowth. I'm going to level it up a single level, and it's going to be way overdue to evolve into Persian. So it's just going to immediately evolve into Persian. And then hopefully that'll be a little bit better, because I believe I can go to the Battle Frontier before I battle Steven. So I might actually get to use Meowth/Persian just once. Or maybe I'll go back to the Pokemon League one more time, who knows, just to see what I can do. So that'll be fun. So here I just almost did not hit level 58, but then I had to battle the Azumarill to get to 58. And at this point, all my Pokemon, they're done learning new moves. Even Nuzleaf. Nuzleaf is the only one that has been evolving. You know, Pluses doesn't evolve, at least not in Gen 3. I don't know about the later generations. I can't evolve Skitty because of the trade. And I still need to catch one more Pokemon per this in-game trades challenge. So some of you Pokemon Emerald nerds will know what it is. But for others, you're just going to have to wait till near the end of this video, or just skip ahead, like many viewers on YouTube do on any kind of video, because they want to get to the good stuff, right? But this is kind of good stuff. I'm fighting an Azumarill, which they're kind of a pain, especially when they're pre-evolution Marrow. When early in the game, for some reason, their defense always seems to be like good / better than most Pokemon's early in the game. So it's like, if I don't have, Vine Whip or Shockwave or Thunder Shock or some move that's going to be super effective, I'm kind of like gotta grind through and use like tackle. It takes a bunch of tackles. And so I remember sometimes early in the game in my playthroughs, even in Gen 2, I would have like a Geodude, which early in the game, the first gym is flying type, so Geodude wrecks that gym. And the second gym is bug type, so Geodude again wrecks that gym. But there'd always be like some trainer with a Marill, and I'd have to immediately switch out Geodude because one water gun like obliterates Geodude. All this rock hard defense, but the special defense is very lacking. And I'm getting through my little puzzle here, and this is Juan's gym in Emerald, not Wallace's. Because as we all know in Ruby and Sapphire, Juan is not the gym leader, it is in fact Wallace. But because of some switcheroo, Juan steps up, because apparently he trained Wallace. So he's like, I'll take over the gym, get back in the saddle. And Wallace is going to be the Pokemon League champion. So I can't remember the whole story. I don't know why he gets to be... The only real difference in this game, story-wise, is like Team Magma and Team Aqua, they also awaken Rayquaza because they both use the orbs, like the red orb and the blue orb. And they were just... Game Freak was just like, you know what? Let's just change like a few other random things and that'll be good. But this is a great game, actually. I first got this this is a sad story. I first got this game when I was, I want to say 11, and I ended up crying because I went to, it was Kmart when Kmart was still around. It's no longer around. And I went to the video game section like I always do, and I saw a new copy of Pokemon Emerald for Game Boy Advance sit behind the glass case. So I said, you know what, sir, give me that one. So he got it for me. He unlocked the case with that special key that was so mysterious. I was like, how do I get one of those to unlock all the games? Because you can never see the back of the cases. They only show the front. So you wanted to like kind of read the descriptions of the games and whatnot, but you'd have to get someone, and I always felt like I didn't want to bother people, so I just look at the front most of the time and just walk away. But anyways, he got me Emerald, and 11-year-old kid, I didn't think anything of it about the lightness of the package of the box, because I had gotten games before and I didn't really paid attention to it. I'm like, yeah, it's a kind of a big box. It's like a 6-inch by 6-inch by maybe 1.5-inch thick box, and it's just a little plastic thing. And the game itself is very tiny. It's maybe inch by 2 inches, and it's only 1/4 of an inch thick. So all in all, everything's pretty light in that box. So I go up to the checkout counter. I had my two $20 bills that I had saved up for, I don't even know what, but it took me a while because 11 years old. I get home. The first thing I do when I go in the house is I run upstairs to my room. I open this box. I'm just like, this is going to be the greatest, because I had already previously owned Gold and Silver. I think I may have played Crystal by then. So I still had my Game Boy Advance. I was like, I'm going to put this sucker right in the Game Boy Advance and just start up and play. I open this box for Pokemon Emerald. There's nothing in there. Like, it is literally an empty box. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, where's the game? Where is it? Oh my goodness. This has never happened, ever. There's always a game. Even if they put the wrong game in, that would make more sense. There is just no game at all. And then I just like lose my mental state. And I'm just like so upset that my world is coming down around me. Kind of like when Thanos grabbed a planet in, was that Endgame? And he like threw the planet at whoever it was, Iron Man and gang. So yeah, I'm just totally at a loss. I don't know what to do. And eventually, we can't go back the same night. My mom takes me back to the Kmart another night. I go up to the customer service desk, and I am fighting back tears, and this lady can see it. And she's just like, well, you're going to have to call the customer service number on the box, which thankfully, they didn't put a game in there, but they did put a number to the Nintendo customer service hotline. And that's exactly what I did. 11-year-old me picks up the house phone, if anybody still uses those. I call Nintendo customer support, and thankfully, the dude on the other end of the line is super understanding. He feels me, he feels my pain. They send me a new copy, or they approve it at the Kmart. I can't remember what they did, but either way, I got myself a working copy that was actually in a box, and played it, loved it, absolutely loved it. Gen 3 or Gen 2. I'm playing the remakes of Gen 2, but it's all of those are pretty much my favorites right now, and they have been for years. The originals are still pretty good. So, played it, loved it, just knew the ins and outs. Played a couple times. I think one playthrough I put in like 140 hours of gameplay, which is, I guess, a little yikes, but as a kid, you got lots of free time. Then I sold it, which was the biggest mistake in my Pokemon ownership experience. I sold it to GameStop for like $9 or $10 or $13, and I bought it for $40. And my advice to you: don't sell your Pokemon games. Just don't, especially the older ones, because you don't realize 5, 10, 15 years later down the road, they kind of become rare and the prices kind of rise up, but it's just the holding on to them more for the sentimental or nostalgia value that it brings to you. So yeah, don't sell any of them. I mean, and nowadays you can get like digital copies of like Red, Blue, and Yellow and Gold, Silver, Crystal on your 3DS or on the Nintendo DS store, whatever that's called. So yeah, past that, thankfully I did hang on to Blue. Was it Blue I hung on it? I hung on to like one of the old ones, but I think I got rid of Gold and Silver too, which was a mistake, so I had to go back and re-get them. So yeah, but for some reason I held on to my Game Boy Color, my Game Boy Advance. No, I sold my Game Boy Advance. I only held on to the Color. Thank goodness I didn't get rid of the Color. It still works to this day, by the way. I got the Game Boy Advance first when I was 7 years old at Toys R Us. Shout out to Toys R Us when that was still in biz. But then I got rid of the Game Boy Advance later on. I don't know, maybe around the time I got Emerald. But the Game Boy Color I got later. I was maybe 9 years old, maybe 10. Then I get a purple link cable, which I still have to this day. I also have another Game Boy Advance. So it's cool stuff to hang on to. None of the other stuff I'm really worried about, like my Wii. If I lost my Wii or it died, I wouldn't be too worried about it. But my GameCube, my Game Boys, that's where it's at. And then kind of a little bit my Xbox 360, because Call of Duty Zombies is another great franchise. And we have beat Juan. Let's get back into this video, I guess, a little bit. We're fighting this old couple, and thankfully the old couple doesn't totally suck. Thankfully they have decent Pokemon. They had a Hariyama, but of course, Extra Sensory had to take care of that one. And then Medicham is fighting type and psychic type. So the little feint attack takes care of it from both of us. And Skitty is very close to 60. And Dots will get there. Dots is fine. Dots can be a lower level. Skitty and Pluses, they need to be higher levels than Dots. And we find Dragon Claw. I need to find out if one of my Pokemon can actually use Dragon Claw. And here it is. The last Pokemon we need to catch to add to our team to trade. It's a Bagon. And as we all know, it eventually evolves into Salamence, which is a crazy good Pokemon. And unfortunately, the in-game trade could not have been the other way around. Which just, it would have made so much sense. It would have been perfect if the in-game trade was I had to catch a Horsey and trade it for a Bagon. This challenge would have been so easy, but it's never that easy. So we have to catch this Bagon. We have to trade it for a Horsey. And I guess I could get a Seadra, but I'm playing this on emulator, so I'm not sure if I can eventually evolve that, because I need a Dragon Scale to get the Kingdra, but we'll see what happens. So I just was like, you know what? I know Bagon's hard to catch. I'll just throw a Pokeball, then I'll throw a Great Ball, then I'll throw an Ultra Ball, and then I'll start over with a Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, just keep going. And eventually, once I run out of those, I can use one of my Timer Balls, which I believe gains power in battles taking many turns. Thank you for that description I just looked at. I've never used a Timer Ball really, because I'm always, well, maybe once or twice, because I always only have one or two of them, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to use it up. Kind of like my Master Ball, it just kind of sits there in the bag. But lately in my playthroughs, I always just like throw the Master Ball at some weak Pokemon just to be silly. Just to be like, use my Master Ball on a Magikarp or a Yanma. Maybe in this one I'll use it on a Poochyena, who knows? So that's fun. So I capture the Bagon. Now let's go trade it for a Horsey. And at least we'll have a boosted XP Horsey. So that'll be cool. And eventually, actually we're probably pretty close to evolving it to Seadra, because it might be level 37 it evolves into Seadra. Don't quote me on that. I'm just going off the top of my memory, based off of Cerebi.net and my... I've never really used a Horsey. No, I have. I have gotten to a Kingdra in Gen 2 before. So this is cool. In the real world, could you get that wireless little thing that attaches to the top of your Game Boy Advance? Because I always have the link cable, so I thought DS started with the wireless thing, but maybe for Game Boy Advance you could have got that little wireless thing that each person plugs into their Game Boy Advance. So it's called Caesar which kind of throws me off because in Gen 2 there's an actual bug and steel Pokemon named Scizor, Scizor. So it's kind of hard to say this nickname of this horsey without, making it sound like Scizor. Scizor? Scizor. Something like that. And of course it's at level 35 because our Bagon was, but its moves are weak. Leer? Really? Who keeps Leer at level 35? Smokescreen I can kind of see. Water Gun? Okay, we need to take care of that. So we're going to teach it Water Pulse. So it does 60 damage instead of 40, plus it could confuse, potentially. And we get rid of Leer, because who wants that? We give it Blizzard. And I'd have some PP ups, and I think PP maxes. So those will come into play before we get to the Pokemon League, because as you know, when you go through each Pokemon League person, Elite Four, you can't go back to the Pokemon Center and heal and re-up your moves. I'll see you in Evergrande City. See you later.